Works. Okay, can you guys... Okay, can you guys see me? I'm back. Sorry, this is, it's part of doing lives. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get this on my thing here. Okay, I won't do it. Then I'm just going to have to hold it. Like old school. Rocking it old school. Okay, we are back. I hope that you guys can see me now. And I hope that Paul is able to jump on because I did invite you. So, okay, so I just need Paul to jump on. So guys, sorry, we are doing this again. We're back. I hope you guys can see me, and please give me a thumbs up or a heart or whatever, letting me know that you can hear and see me, please. Okay, great. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Joe. Hi, Sophia. Hi, Simon. Thanks, guys, for coming back, and I'm just waiting for Paul. Sorry, guys. Okay, Paul, so let's get to you in here. Okay. Request to be add viewer. Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, Paul, I'm sending this to you right now. Okay, I sent you an invite, Paul, so you should be able to jump on. Why is this not? It's so weird. It's not working. Request to be all viewers to send. Huh. This is so bizarre. I don't know why it's not adding you. Ugh. It's everyone else says bring you on camera, but it's not saying Paul bring you on camera. Okay. I don't know. Okay, approve. Got you. Yes. Okay. Are you there? Okay, it says it's adding you. Okay, guys, sorry. This is just a little technical difficulty. There you are. Hello.
Hey.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I told you I'd never done this before, so it's okay. My viewers know.
Wasn't letting me do it
What's
on my
that?
laptop. So it wasn't letting me do it on my laptop, so I jumped on my phone to accept your invite. So
Okay, cool. It wasn't letting me do it on mine either, and usually it does, so I don't know what that was about, but I'm glad we got it connected, and I've got my people on and more joining now, so I just wanted to officially introduce you. This is Paul Blanchard from the Mandino group and the Habit Finder, and just is one of my favorite people. I totally love you, and the reason I even knew about you or met you is because I was doing the red carpet at the city gala in the beginning of March. And I was doing research, so, I look like I know what I was talking about when I saw people on the red carpet. And of course, everybody was amazing and really struck me and so motivational. But there was just something different about you and what you do that you just hit me. And I was like, wow, who is this person? What is he doing? And how is he affecting the world? So I wanted to share with my viewers and my friends who's kind of a mixture of artists and entrepreneurs and moms and whatever else they're doing. So it's just kind of they're all over the map. But what I find the main thread of all of them is that they're all trying to strive to be the best, like we all are. And I think we all kind of hide behind masks and want to look the best that we can. So in the vein of that, I'm kind of exposing myself with the assessment test that I took with you guys, which is called the Habit Finder. I took the test simply because I wanted to know what it was before I spoke to you and we actually met. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what kind of test or assessment it was going to be. It was literally, it took me, 5 minutes to do maybe? And within 10 minutes, I got the results back, I think it was, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. Like, stopped me dead in my tracks. I could not believe how accurate it was. And I was like, how did he know I was thinking this way? How did he know I did this? And like you said, I've heard you say before, it kind of seems like it's a bit of voodoo, but it's not. You guys have mathematically broken this down. And I know that's kind of a long introduction, but Please give more of an introduction of who you are, how you found yourself into Augmandino, and what your background is, so people can have a full understanding of what this live is going to be about.
Sure. As you mentioned, my name's Paul. I'm the president of the Augmandino Companies, which is the Augmandino Leadership Institute, Habit Finder. We have a few production companies, publishing companies, and other things. I wake up every morning inspired to work with creators. That's really what we focus on. And there's typically two types of creators out there in the world. There are those who, and creators are influencers, leaders, entrepreneurs. I mean, those are the kind of people that we would put into the category. We're not industry focused as much as mindset focused, and we also seem to attract our favorite type of creator, and those are people that want to contribute to the world. They want to expand their influence. They want a footprint, is something that I hear pretty frequently. And there are two types of creators. There are those who have created and want to be able to create more or create faster. Mm-hmm. And then there are who also feel the calling to create whatever that is for them in their lives and haven't quite cracked their own code yet. There's a lot of, I can see it, I can taste it, I can even touch it. Why can't I have it? You know, get little snippets of things, and we get opportunities to be on here, and I'm getting endorsements from some of my favorite people on the planet. Dean Smith just jumped on here. Brian Edstrom, who was a significant leader at a time in my life when I was in a different country trying to figure out who I was by trying to serve people, was an amazing human being that I got to work with as well. But anyway, in working with creators, we spent the first 3 years as a company trying to find principles of creation and really mastering the principles that Augmandino had written about over 50 years ago. It's 2018. It's 50-year anniversary of The Greatest Salesman in the World, which is one of the most profound books ever written. Augmandino flipped personal development on its head 50 years ago, talking about this other mind and talking about how we're a slave to habits and ways that people had never talked about it before. And you look at the progression of neuroscience and physiology and all these things since then, and it's spooky to see what Augmandino was talking about poetically 50 years ago that has been
he was
way
really
established.
Ahead of his time.
Yeah, way ahead of his time. And he would tell you today, if he was still around, he passed away in 96, that he didn't write that stuff. He just took dictation, just watched his fingers type on the typewriter. One of the reasons he was able to write all 10 scrolls in one night, which not everybody knows. Just extraordinary. Now, as carrying his legacy on, we tried just teaching those principles. And unfortunately, from the consumer's perspective, from the client perspective, it was a repackaged version of everything else. You know, you had the craze of stock trading going on and invest tools and all kinds of things like that in that kind of 97 to 2000, 2001 boom. And just not a lot of desire for just a different version of motivation or personal development. And so we put things on hold and decided to focus on what Peter Drucker would teach any business owner to do, and that's measurement. If you can't measure, you can't manage it, you can't improve it. And so we found ourselves, after a long journey at the University of Tennessee and the Hartman Institute, and we found a math and a science. It's and you've heard this. It's the formal science of axiological mathematics, Cantor's transfinite calculus, and the concept of infinitudes that allows us to make sure
say that 5 times fast.
Right? I've tried. Well.
Yeah.
We've used this science to essentially measure your brain, the way you think. We realized Og was talking about a whole nother plane, a whole nother level that people don't typically tap into on purpose in terms of improving their lives. Okay. And hey, Snoopy.
Hi. He loves to jump on lives with me.
Head on. Very cool. And so we wanted to be able to measure what Og was teaching us to shift intuitively. And long story short, we found a way to develop our proprietary assessment. And everybody is a pretty assessment drunk these days, pretty overdone in terms of personality assessments. You know, what Disney princess am I? And I was totally Jasmine, which rocks. And, you know, whatever other kind of assessments you can come up with. But this is different than anything else. And that's the 100,000 people we've had work with us on it, on what it measures, not me talking. And because when you can dive below the level of personality and behavior and actually get into thought processes, we can actually work on the things that are going to create lasting change. Because I mean, I'll ask you, Amanda, how many times have you felt like you were creating momentum in your life, and then some unknown, intangible source seemed to just sabotage you and pull you back into what people often call square one?
I countless times. I mean, countless times. And that's what I found so shocking about the assessment, was that it got right to the root of it, of like, wait a second, that's why I've been doing that? Oh my God. And I almost every single time something has brought me back to square one. It's yes. For sure.
There's certain patterns and there's a lot more to personal development than just affirmations and positive thinking. There's a biology to it.
Yeah.
And what we wanted to do is be able to measure that biology as the patterns, the thinking habits, the neural pathways of the way your brain processes your life and where it's headed. We want to be able to measure that as accurately as a thermometer can measure the temperature. And I mean, I feel incredibly humbled and lucky, I would even say, to have a tool like this, because in 10 minutes online with no questions, I can know over 6 quadrillion variables of the way that you think, so that as a coach, we can dive right into what's going to make a difference. We don't have to do any intuitive witch hunts or treasure hunts for what might be going on, because there's a ton of great principles out there, a lot of GPS type directions and how to be successful.
Yeah.
And the challenge is, if you're not at this level and someone's telling you, Amanda, all you need to do is turn right on Washington Street and you're going to be able to find success. That's great and probably true and accurate. But if you're 3 miles from Washington Street, that doesn't help you. No matter how intentionally you visualize Washington Street, and no matter what you try to harness the law of attraction of Washington Street into your life, if that's not where you are in your thought processes, it's going to fall short. And
that's exactly right.
So.
Yeah, and I that's why what you do is so important. And again, that's what struck me about researching you and then meeting you live in person. And first of all, you look like Spartan, for Christ's sake. Like you're like 6'5" and like 290 or something like that, but just full of love and so much knowledge and so much wisdom. And your father too. Oh my God. I just found everything about this assessment kind of terrifying, but also so great, because it really does give you real world, real time answers. And that's what I want to convey in this. And within this too, we'll send people to the website where they can actually take the assessment themselves, and then maybe even get with one of your coaches or whatever to figure out kind of what all that means. Because it really is a lot of information to take in that you're not used to hearing, because it's always like, rah, rah, yeah, just get up there and do it. Well, I got to tell you something. There's been many times where I didn't want to get out of bed. You know, and I knew I needed to. I knew that it would be better for me to, but I just didn't want to. My mind wasn't there. My body wasn't there. My sense of direction wasn't there. And no matter how many people are screaming at you to do it, and no matter how many times you become your own cheerleader, sometimes it just doesn't work. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work for the long run. So this assessment and what you guys have done with Mandino is thrilling and amazing and seriously life-changing. So so what kind of
I love what Mel Robbins says about the change you're talking about. She says, wake up 30 minutes earlier tomorrow than you ever have before. And as soon as your alarm goes off, no snooze button, not even 2 or 3 seconds in bed, flip your sheets off and stand upright.
Yep.
You will come face to face with all the energy and all the force trying to keep you from changing.
Yeah.
I love that example, because all of us have this gift to be able to visualize our lives in our minds. It's called metacognition, We can step
Hmm.
back from our own lives and consider possibilities, and we can override unhealthy habits of thinking, like that person that cut you off on the freeway that you wanted to drive into a ditch, and all of a sudden you decided that's probably not a good idea. Okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's part of the buffer of
Yeah.
metacognition. That's a tremendous gift. But the challenge is it allows us to bridge the gap between where we are and where we want to be without doing the work. And so we visualize it, and then Monday morning comes around or this afternoon comes around, and it's time to do the work, and it doesn't go as smoothly or as easily as we saw it in our minds. What I want to help you discover is what are the pressure points and what are the areas where you're running into a mudslide of unmet expectations, or where you're
Yeah.
sabotaging your own work by using, and often as we found, and as we discussed with you, Amanda, a lot of the challenges in your assessment
Yeah.
come from some of the greatest gifts. I mean, your very high levels of empathy and intuition, your passion that just drives you, your ability to see a human being for how valuable they really are, and making sure that that guides all the choices you make. Tremendous natural gifts you have, and
Thank
we can
you.
see the way that some of the challenges you've been through in life that I'm not going to mention on here, that you were kind enough to be really vulnerable and transparent about, have created the technical term would compensatory foundation for just being able to survive in certain
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
What's tough when our brain learns how to survive and get through tough stuff, it doesn't totally learn how to deprogram that or turn it off after we're done surviving. And so the
Yeah.
compensation continues and dominoes continue to fall. And we're finally on a level where we can rewire all that.
Yeah, because you really do, I mean, you stay in that survival mode and it's fight or flight. It's never, a nice balance of, okay, I can navigate my way through this. It's either you're doing this or you're running for your life. And, you know, as you saw in that assessment, and by the way, I just want to let everyone know too, when you take this assessment, it is absolutely 1000% confidential. Like no one will see it. Only the Augmandino people will see it. That's it. I mean, maybe even just you. I don't know, but like no one will see it. And if you want to jump on a call with one of the coaches or Paul or something like that, you can tell them things that will not go anywhere. Like just don't worry about that. So I know somebody asked me that last night. I was like, if you only
Uh,
knew what I told Paul. So, he's not going to
the,
say anything. So
the good news is, even if people saw it, they probably wouldn't even know what they're looking at. I have a
that's the
couple
thing.
comments for people that have taken it. One is we wanted to build it in a familiar construct, so it looks like a personality assessment. There's even terms on it that could make it feel like it's pointing out your characteristics or your tendencies or your behavior, but it's not. It's talking about a thought process. For example, there's a measurement in there that we call coachable. We called it coachable
Hmm.
because it was a lot easier than calling it a systemic concept to the value of a systemic concept, which is a singular value in Cantor's transfinite calculus to the power of a singular value. It was a little easier to just say it's coachable. We'll call this
Yeah.
thought process coachable because it starts to get us in the arena of what it affects in our lives and how we process the direction of our lives. And if it's over focused, we know the risks involved with that. We're not saying you aren't coachable if that bar isn't right in the middle for you. What we're saying is the thought
Hmm.
process that we call coachable has some risks associated with the way your mind is processing that. Now, risks are
Yeah.
interesting because, like the freeway right out here, people are going 80 miles an hour on. Okay, that's
Yeah.
risky, but not necessarily bad if they
Yeah.
understand the traffic laws and the fact that they're in a 4,000-pound piece of metal and they need to be safe and watch for other people, then that risk can be fantastic because it gets me from here to my house that is miles away, that 100 years ago would have taken me a day's journey, now only takes me 25 minutes. So risk
Yeah.
isn't necessarily what you and I got to explore in your measurements is, is that Tony Robbins? Thanks, Nicole. I get that a
I
lot.
know I saw that,
My
but I didn't want to. Not, but I think you're just as tall.
Yeah,
No,
I
honey,
think
this
I'm
is Paul
about a
Blanchard from Augmandino.
oh,
Oh, hi, Jason. Jason's watching.
yes. Right on. Jason, so Jason Cisneros, I gotta say this. I'm just sitting here working away in my office the other day, and Jason calls up. And those of you who don't know Jason, you want to, but make sure
Yeah.
you're ready to in your life, because Jason doesn't spend any time with people that are just
Yeah.
hot air. I
No,
mean, really,
definitely
people
not.
are creating change. And Jason calls me up and just says, "Hey, has anybody called you a sexy beast today?" I was like, "Nope, haven't met that quota yet." And so he's like, "All right, yours." And that was like, it was just so cool. You're talking about this incredibly accomplished consultant and business owner, and people are just like high-end executives and business owners are dying to get lunch with this guy. And he just calls me up out of the
Yeah.
blue just to say, it was awesome. Like a guy who really walks the walk, lives his truth, and makes things happen. It was just super cool. I had to mention that. So
And then
anyway,
Todd's on too now. Do you see?
Todd Special. How do I know
Yes.
that name? So familiar.
Oh, you know him, don't you? Are you being
I've got to open up the profile. The name sounds like someone I've met recently or I've been talking to recently. So
you? You're amazing. You're amazing, Jason. I love you. What's up, Todd? So some of the people that are watching that don't know who these people are, Todd Special and Jason Cisneros, they are serious badasses in the world, along with Paul. And I'm just like so dumbfounded that they're like, you guys are my friends. You know what I mean? Like these are people I could probably call you guys up. What's up, sexy beast? Although it might be a little weird coming from me, but still, I mean it in a really fun way. Um, but, but still, you guys are just so amazing. I mean, seriously, I'm so blessed. That's how we know each other. We're both handsome. That's right, Todd. There you go. That's how you know each other, Paul.
so but it's a compliment.
um,
It takes one to know, I guess. So thanks, Todd.
that's right. That's right.
So
You guys are hilarious.
one of the reasons it's tough to go where we go with people. Everyone's heard the iceberg analogy. 90% is under the surface, 10% is above the surface. But our conscious mind doesn't want to have to worry about the 90% that's below the surface
Yeah.
of the way that we're living and what's driving our progress. And one of the reasons it doesn't want to have to worry about it is our brain's number one goal in life is to keep us safe. That's why we have fight, flight, or faint, and is actually the third option that a good friend of mine, Dr. Kelly Rife, told me the other day. She's like, it's not just fight or flight, it's fight or flight or faint, because that's an
I have
option.
definitely felt like I needed to do that sometimes.
Totally.
Oh,
The challenge is our brain equates safety with predictable. And that's really scary when you start to think about it. That's why we can sit there and watch an amazing human being be in an abusive relationship and not get out when we don't understand how. Like, why does it
I went through that.
leave? Because the brain wants predictability. It doesn't care that it's painful. That's why
Mm,
a good friend of mine, Noah St. John, doesn't call the comfort zone a comfort zone. He calls it the familiar zone, because that's where our
right.
brains stay. And so what do we do to compensate for that? We try to find ways to stimulate. We try to find ways to fix and to trick and to hack and all these things, all the while never addressing what's below the surface. And what's
Right.
below the surface can be pretty haunting.
Yeah.
I would compare where we go and what we measure to like a rip tide in the ocean. Have you ever been caught in a rip tide before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, anyone who loves the waves knows what a rip tide is and knows how to watch
It's
out for it. And
scary.
yeah, because you don't feel a rip tide. You just all of a sudden, when you get a point of reference, which is hard to get when you're in the ocean, and you suddenly
Yeah.
realize you're not 50 feet from shore now, you're 500 feet from shore. And
Yeah.
if you fight a rip tide, you're going to wear yourself out and drown. And yet that's what's happening for us constantly. And Og Mandino addressed it in scroll number 1 when he said, the most powerful and the most unsexy thing in personal development ever. And he said that real success is about preventing failure.
Mm,
Failure prevention doesn't sell on late night TV, I'm sorry. And yet failure prevention are the thinking habits and the foundational pieces that can allow us to build our dreams on top of something that can be stable. And
right.
and when we get out of this ongoing paradox of charging up the hill of success, getting slammed by a mudslide of unmet expectations, and sliding back even further than where we were, needing this time of recovery, coming back to where we are, and then waiting for the motivation or the drive or the excitement to do it again.
Right.
Rather than that, let's create a trajectory. Let's create a step, and then another step, and another step. But the challenge is, in our microwave society, we don't always have the patience for that.
So let me
But we've
ask
all
you,
heard the old, yeah.
I'm sorry, honey, but let me ask you, how do you do that with the client? So when they take the assessment test, how do you set them up to stop the bad habits and to really understand that they don't need to do it anymore, and but this is why you don't need to do it anymore, and so maybe start doing this, or I don't know what your process is, so please explain that.
I love what Jason just said. It's not about what you make; it's about what you keep, and what makes you. That's really part of that. Where Jason's coming from, actually, all of that is the right mindset.
Right.
One of the things you're going to want to do is understand some of the key principles to success and growth and creation. And one of them is understanding the real pattern of commitment. The majority
Yeah.
of the people on the planet are driven by what they feel, and then they take some actions based on how they feel, and then they make a commitment depending on how those actions turned out based on the feelings that they had. I mean, yeah, backwards.
Totally done that one.
Right? But it's the easiest thing to do, because our feelings come from our lower brain. No matter how hard we fight, it's going to take us a certain direction. Oh, did we freeze up? Oh, there we go. And so when we get an opportunity to make a commitment first, and then take the actions based on the commitment, regardless of the feelings, then the feelings that we're really looking for show up. My dad taught it to me as a young guy, as a big candy bar, little candy bar. You can have the little candy bar now. If you want the immediate gratification, go for it. But if you're willing to hold out and find the consistency and the commitment and the hard work to stick in there, you'll get the big candy bars in life. And that's a huge part of what we want to teach people. And we want to show them how it doesn't have to be so hard to do that either. I find people are way more.
So how do you show them that?
Failure. So, well, first of all, we want to measure what is going on under the surface. What are the that are counterintuitive to what you really want? Because you and I, Amanda, had a awesome, phenomenal conversation that I appreciate you trusting me enough to have yesterday.
Of course. Thank you.
Considering about. And what the assessment gave me an opportunity to do is distinguish between, we got to address these two options you were weighing, and we got to use the assessment measurements. That's all I was doing. I was looking at your assessment, and I was seeing where the thought processes were out of balance and where they might be telling you some lies. They might be creating some false dichotomies about what you really want and the way you're actually processing it. And as we started to be able to unravel that, I hope that some additional clarity came about. Was that helpful to you, and we were able to dissect those two things?
So yes, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was really battling with it. And because you saw that assessment, or you saw the results of the assessment, and we were able to talk about it, I can be frank with you and honest with you. And I told you exactly what was going on, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And because you saw those results, you were able to give me a real-time answer as to what I already knew the answer was, but because of my habit, I didn't want to face. And that was so powerful, and it really, I got off the call with you yesterday, and I just felt, I'm like, duh, of course I knew what the answer was, but it was just so nice to hear it in just right in front of me from someone that, I mean, you don't know me well, but you know probably more about me than a lot of people do. But so I'd say, yeah, you know me well, I guess. But that's what I'm trying to get across to people on this today, is that this is what this assessment does, and this is what you guys at Mandino do. You can literally take somebody and go, okay, here's two decisions. This is why you can go this way, or this is why you can go this way, but you already know the answer, so this is why you're going to go that way, right? Without feeding them the answer, but they're able to figure it out in a more productive way and leave the old habit behind. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
on paper, it was pretty obvious which direction you should go on paper.
Yes.
Do you mind me sharing one of the pivotal reasons why you were making it so hard on yourself?
Sure, I trust you, so go ahead.
Just because I think there might be some other people on here that have had a similar experience.
You're right.
You sitting on your thumbs waiting for life to show up for you. You haven't been, dreaming about being a star and a performer and a public speaker. You've been out there working so hard to make it happen for so long. And that journey has beat on you so hard, as life does, that when what could be an incredible opportunity for you showed up, you had a few thought processes that weren't allowing you to accept that.
Yes.
That didn't want you to believe that something this good could happen for Amanda Corvell. They didn't want you to believe that it would ever happen because it had gotten so used to the struggle.
So
and
true.
you called me yesterday on the verge of sacrificing and even questioning something that could absolutely change everything for you.
Yeah.
Because some thought processes got away with making the other option seem way more complicated than it actually was, in an effort to keep you predictable. And what had been predictable for your mind for too long had been the struggle. Which reminds me of what Og told us before anything else in the scrolls, that today I begin a new life. Today I shed my old skin, which has too often suffered the bruises of failure and the wounds of mediocrity. And all we did was an opportunity to have a conscious moment to do just that. That doesn't mean that making the choice that you have more clarity on is going to be easy now, that suddenly all anxiety is just going to flush out of it. It doesn't happen that way. But now it's a fair fight. Now it's a fair fight.
That, and just when you said that, when you said it's a fair fight, I got chills, because that's so empowering to hear that from you, because it's like, I feel that now. I'm like, okay, instead of running scared into a comfortable situation, because that's what it really is, I can stand in between the two and know which one I really want, yet still take on that one and not feel like it won't be there if I happen to go the other way. You know what I mean? I can take them both on and follow both passions that I want without sacrificing myself. And I can draw boundaries, and which I'm not very good at. And I am getting better at it. But I'm telling you, and it's been a short time. Like, it's been since like the first week of March, I think it was, or the first day of March, whatever, when I first even knew about you. But this is how much progress I've already made in just a couple of times that you and I have talked, and seen you at the gala, and then done the assessment test. I mean, it happens that quick, where you start to, like, we all have a big puzzle, right? And all these pieces, and you're like, where does all this go? But with the assessment test and with your guidance, it's easier for me to recognize. It's not like you're handing me the puzzle piece and go, you put it there. It's more like, here's a puzzle piece, you know where to put it. You know what I mean? And because that makes you settle into your body and trust yourself more, and trust the process. And I haven't had an easy time with men in my life. I haven't had an easy time just in my life overall. And people don't know that about me. They think that I'm this or that or whatever. And I just am the farthest thing from that. I'm a total dork. And I've had a really tough go at stuff. But, I am exhausted from the fight or flight. But for the first time, I really am starting to feel like I don't have to do that anymore. And, my hands are a little sweaty, and I'm a little like riled up from it, just because it's kind of maybe leaving my body right now, just talking about it. But it's such a powerful feeling to know that I don't need to run into comfortability anymore. And I don't have to run into, I don't have to worry about what somebody else wants for me or wants for themselves through me. You know what I mean? It's life changing. I mean, it really is. I just can't say enough about you guys.
I love what
really,
you said.
yeah.
Use that just because you take
what's that?
I said I love what you said about the puzzle. Because even if you take the assessment, or even if you meet with my team, we're not going to put the puzzle together for you, but for most people who have never experienced something like that, they're putting together a puzzle. It's just all the pieces are flipped over. You can't see the pictures for the reference points. And the
Yes.
assessment, when you have time to understand it, is like flipping all the pieces of the puzzle over, which doesn't mean that it's going to be put together for you. There's no such thing
Hmm.
as that. But now you have reference points. Now you have more clarity. Now you have more awareness to be able to do that. Um, could I share three questions that are what most people will want to consider before taking this assessment?
Whatever you want to share, Don, go for it.
Okay. Because there are a fair number of people who take this, and then my team calls them, because we offer free consultations to review your results, because we understand how difficult it is for people to understand everything that's there. And they get some people that go, well, I was just bored and so I took it, or I was just curious, or whatever the case. This is not a just curious or I'm bored kind of assessment. And this is really deep, and this is a scientific, practically neurologically surgical tool to measure the
Totally.
way that you. And there are three questions we've found that people who are ready to take this on have already been asking themselves. And they sound negative, but they're not. They're some people will play the victim with these questions, and those aren't the people we want to be talking to anyway. But to step back and to be really clear about these, the first one is, what don't I like about my life? Can you answer, at least to yourself, what it is you don't like about your life? That's number one. From a mature, clear, conscious position, not from playing the victim, not because woe is me or anything like that. Just you're analyzing and considering your own life. Number two is, what do I wish was different? How clear are you on what you wish was different about your life? And not these philosophical broad brushstrokes. I mean specific things you wish were different. And then lastly,
Yeah.
what do you hope will change? What do you hope will change about your life? What don't I like about my life? What do I wish was different? And what do I hope will change? Which are three similar questions, but the answers to all three are profoundly different and important. And we've found that the people that are producing and creating income and scared to death of how to sustain it, or what collateral damage getting there has
Yeah.
created in life for their relationships, awesome. All the way to the people who know they were born to create more and do more, both of those types of creators have considered these three questions. And when we can start to connect those dots for them of what riptides, what currents, what challenges under the surface have been holding them back from that, this isn't the answer. This isn't use this instead of everything else. This is what's going to make everything else work.
1000%. And that's why this is so important. It's, again, it's unlike any other thing I've ever taken. And believe me, just like the rest of us, I've done every test, I've read every book, I've been to every seminar, and they've all helped me in some different way. But really getting into the nitty gritty roots of why I've been acting the way that I've been acting and holding myself back when I know that I'm a flourishing, falcon. I'm rising out of the ashes. I've gone through so much shit in my life, and this assessment really does give you the tools to keep moving forward. And like you mentioned a couple of times, no, it isn't easy. And no, this is not going to be, the end all be all to everything. You still have to put in the work, and you still have to show up every day for yourself and for your family and whatever else you're doing. But if you can't, it's just like that. When you're on a plane, they always tell you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then your kid, which is like totally opposite of what you want to do. But you do need to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and this is what this does. It helps you sift through things to where you can start pumping oxygen into places that were lost and forgotten about, and because you don't think about these habits anymore, and these habits are the ones that are actually conducting your life for you. And it's powerful to see it, in the form that our viewers will once they take the test. It's so powerful to see it that way, because it really does give you a roadmap of all the stuff you've been doing, and then you guys come in and help them, sift through it confidentially and lovingly. And it's such a great support system too. And I just, oh, Sophia wanted to ask a question. She said,
I
how do
just
you
saw
balance the pain in
it.
our, oh, you saw that?
Yeah, that was a great
Huh?
question. I was hoping
Okay.
I'm out of time, but I wanted to make sure we answered that because that's a great question.
Yeah.
It's not the objective of the assessment, but it can give me a pretty clear idea of the pain in somebody's life based on how their thought processes are responding to it. And Sophia asked, how do you balance the pain in our soul and positive thoughts? The first thing, Sophia, and anybody else who has dealt with pain in their life, is to not be afraid of it. We have two ways of reconciling pain in life. One is we choose to play the victim and we single ourselves out and woe is me and all this stuff. And we've been around those people before. And generally those who are struggling with the pain and positive thoughts are not those types of people. The other, it could be worse, which is the other side of the same coin, where we take our pain and minimize it because it could be so much worse. We could be dealing with what that's dealing with. We could be going with that. And neither of those serve at all, because both of them distance you from your pain, and your pain is one of the greatest teachers you have in life. And so what I would give you, Sophia, is a warning with positive thoughts. Positive thoughts are what come from finding purpose in your pain. Because if you're going to use optimism to deal with your pain rather than use purpose and service and looking outside yourself as a part of embracing your pain and the way it's prepared you, if you're going to use optimism, that's when positive thoughts become panic. It's like lidocaine. When you have to rely on enthusiasm to get through the day, real passion or a real drive for connecting and serving, add value and contributing to the world. So the first thing is take a deeper look at your pain without it needing to be something you should be afraid of. And most people bury their pain because they assume owning it means they have to broadcast it to the world. Now, Amanda, you shared some of your deeper pain with me as we went through your assessment, but you don't need to get on a Facebook Live and tell everybody about that. It doesn't have to be broadcast, but you can still own it. You can still carry it with you and make it a part of who you are and the way you've been uniquely prepared to serve others. And that's where the positivity comes from. That's where there is purpose in the suffering.
Can I say, Paul, that was another profound point from you, was that I thought that I had to tell everybody what happened, or what has happened in my life. And I was like, God, that's why I just stopped doing all the Facebook Lives I was doing, because I was going too far down the rabbit hole with that. And I thought that I had to really share all these personal things. And I was like, I don't want everyone to know all this about me. How can I still share? So then I just completely stopped doing everything and just shut off, because it scared me, until you came along and were like, you don't have to tell anybody that. Use that pain to inspire other people, but keep it raw and keep it with you. It's okay, but don't make it into something that is going to hinder you still. That it's okay to express yourself, right? Am I saying this right? It's okay to express yourself in that pain, but you don't have to announce everything about it. Is that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a critical point, and yeah, that's a critical point. And my dad, my business partner, just spoke at a TEDx event last week and talked about this very thing. So if you want to see it, you can go onto the Mandino Facebook page or onto the Habit Finder Facebook page, and we posted the link there. And he talks about it because there is a crucial question that comes when we start to own our pain. And the question is, and you don't have to broadcast this to be able to answer it.
Yeah.
Is anyone in your life suffering from a similar wound? When you own your pain, you can finally start to see others. And that's where the positivity comes from, where you get to step in their world, you get to notice them, you get to ask questions that nobody else would have asked them, because you're owning your pain and you're finding purpose in that for the way it has uniquely prepared you to serve others. Mm-hmm. You cannot heal your self-esteem or your self-worth by looking within. It's by owning what's within and looking outside of yourself and using that to connect and serve and add value and contribute to the world. And that doesn't mean I'm here to share with you everything bad that's ever happened to me to inspire you. And there's some people that have owned those sides of their story and are unapologetic about those that I find very inspiring.
Yeah.
But for the rest us who don't need to do that to own our pain, the only options we've been given up to this point is to bury it or broadcast it.
Yeah.
And that those aren't your only two options. The most
Hmm.
important is to engrave it on your heart, make it a part of who you are, and allow it to shape the way you serve the next person and the next person.
And that's again so powerful because it takes the pressure off. I really felt a huge weight lifted when I realized that third option. I was like, oh, I don't have to, I can carry it around with me, but not like a bag of bricks anymore, where here, everybody, here's my bricks. I can, and it's funny because after my mom passed when I was 18, and I was able to relate to people very well and be able to sympathize with them and empathize with them and really take them in and hold and hug them after their parents had died. And there's something somewhere along the way, I guess I was just depleted of that energy. Didn't have it anymore, and I forgot that through your own pain, you are a healer. You actually do heal other people that need you when they're in the same position that you were in 6 months ago. You know what I mean? And then that person that's beyond you is going to extend their hand and bring you along with them, and it's just this beautiful chain of love that we need to express to each other. And because we've all gone through crap, we've all gone through hell, we've all gone through things that we would never thought we'd live through, and here we are living. You know what I mean? But like your dad says too, and you said, like, you have to choose the make the choice to live. You know what I mean? Like, really live. Don't just surrender to your comfortability and your habits and all the BS that you've been feeding yourself forever. It's just really powerful.
Certainly. And
Thanks, Amanda and Paul. I
yeah,
do sometimes struggle owning it. Yeah. Sophia,
it's not,
I did too. And I go ahead, honey.
I was going to say, it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
It's a process, and we may only be able to take in parts of it at a time. It's not going to be one event. I own my pain. Boom, I'm good to go. It's going to be
No, it's definitely not like that.
diligent process to own more and more of the way we have been beautifully prepared for the rest of our life, and a commitment to keep finding the purpose in what we're experiencing, good or bad. And the struggle will always be there. That's what keeps us appreciative and humble and focused. And so embrace that too, Sophia. I really appreciate where you're headed.
And you just touched on something too, that when people ask, why is this happening to me? That's the answer. Like, whatever is going on within that situation is the answer as to why it's happening to you, because it's preparing you for something else, to help somebody else, to prepare you for a different situation or whatever it is. But within that pain is the answer as to why it's happening to you. And there always is a reason. It's not, I mean, some things are just horrific and horrible, I understand, but, and I, don't want to go there with some things, but a lot of the stuff is really meant to help other people and to really get them out of the situation that they're in. And that's what you guys do. It's amazing. And um, please tell me what you guys are up to now too with Augmandino, and where we can see you next and when you're speaking, so people can follow you around and really get to know what you guys are doing.
All over the place. Right now, we've got our head buried pretty deep in developing some new platforms, some new material to be able to really serve our tribe, our family. And then Dave and I are coaching constantly. We don't just go about and promote this stuff. I've got to jump off here right now, in fact, because I've got a client to go dive in with, and several every day. We keep our heartbeat on where people are really living. The last thing I'd love to say is, first is, please go and take the Habit Finder if you've felt that so far in your life the two options have been deal with the pain in my life or make money, because that's a false dichotomy. But the reason why it's felt that way is because it's very difficult to understand how to resolve the pain, what's under the surface, without a tool like this. Because we're
Yeah.
not in the business of just addressing pain or shame or anything else like that. We're in the business of making money and creating results for our clients. I mean,
Yeah.
we sell millions of dollars that we help create for our clients every year, as much as the deepened relationships, the eliminating procrastination. Because when you work at this level, it's not work and life. It's not relationships and business. It's life. It's everything. It's principles that endure, as Og Mandino taught us. And super excited to have been able to spend some time with you and your people. Thank you so much for this. I've got a jet.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it and look forward to talking with you again soon.
All right, Paul. Thank you so, so much, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, hun. So I don't know if he's still on here or not, but if you guys can still hear me, go to habitfinder.com, and I'll put the link up too in the description. And sorry we had a little bit of trouble in the beginning, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. Oh my God, hi Robin, you just missed the whole thing. You're late to the party. Um, but yeah, so that was Paul Blanchard from Og Mandino and the Habit Finder, and really, oh hi Simon, hi honey. I got my UK boys watching. What? Life-changing experiences with his family and these people that run Og Mandino and the Habit Finder. But please go take the assessment. I'm telling you, it'll really change your life. It is habitfinder.com and then ogmandino.com if you want to check out their Leadership Institute and just kind of get to know who they are. And go look at Og Mandino too, because you know, he wrote everything, I think, in the 1950s. This man was so far beyond his years and beyond time that it really speaks to exactly what we need to hear in our society now. So with that said, I hope this was valuable to you guys. Please go take the assessment. It's totally free. It's all confidential. And no, they're not going to shop you around and sell your information and things like that. Don't worry about it. So yes, I hope this was valuable to you guys. Go take the assessment, habitfinder.com, and I will see you on another live. Okay, bye.